Let's go to page 290 and start with number 1. Okay, so simplify negative square root of negative 81. As soon as you see there's a negative inside the square root, you have to make into I. So right away make into square root of 81 I. Again, square root of negative 1 is I. And then from there you can go and simplify. So square root of 81 is going to be equal to 9. If you don't see that, what you do is again do the prime factorization. So divide by 3 equal 27, divide by 3 equal 9, divide by 3 equal 3, divide by 3 equal 1. So this will give you an integer 3, this will give you integer 3. So they give you 3i, so equal to 9i. Okay. So again, as soon as you see the negative inside the square is the I, and you go and take care of that first before you do anything else. Okay, so you got negative 4 square root of negative 36. Okay, so leave this alone. Okay, so this would be square root of 36i. Right? Again, as soon as you see a negative inside the square, that's an I, and this becomes negative 4. Okay, and this is give you a 6i. Right? Again, if you don't see that, go to the side. Okay, to 2, 18, 2, 9, 3, 3, 3, 1. Right? So this will give you a 2, this will give you a 3. So 2 times 3 give you 6. And this will give you a negative 24i. Okay. So again, as soon as you see negative inside the square root, make into I, and then after that, you just do whatever you need to do. Okay, number 5, you got square root of negative 20. So again, right away, take care of the I first before you do anything else. Okay, then from there, you can go and simplify. Okay, so this will give you, so this will equal to, this will give you integer 2, square root of 5i. Okay. And you always want to put I in the back. Okay, always put I in the back. And that's because in the future you're going to learn how to write everything in terms of a plus bi form. So this is your standard complex number form. So I always go in the back. Okay, so get into a habit of put I in the back. Okay, number 7. You have 3 square root of negative 8. So this is equal to 3 square root of 8i. Then after that, we can go and simplify the square root of 8. So divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. So this will give you 2 square root of 2. Okay. So again, this is the integer 2. This is the leftover. So this will give you 6 square root of 2i. So again, put I in the back. Okay. Okay, number 9. You have 2i times 3i. Okay, so when you multiply, again, I is like an imaginary number. So when you multiply, you only multiply the same type of number. So 2 times 3 will give you 6. I times I give you negative 1. So remember, I times I is equal to negative 1. So you got to remember your imaginary numbers. Okay, number 11, yeah, square root of 7 times square root of negative 7. So again, when you have negative inside the square, right away, take care of that before you do anything else. Okay, so it becomes square root of 7i. Okay, always take care of that, make into I first before you do anything else. So now you have 2 radicands. These 2 radicands will make an integer 7, and the I will be just the I. Okay, page 290, number 13. You have square root of negative 5 times square root of negative 10. So as soon as you see the I negative inside the square root, make into I first. So this is square root of 5i. And make sure I is big enough, it's outside the square root. This is square root of 10i. So now you can multiply. And this one I'm going to, instead of multiply, make a number big, I'm going to break it down even more. So 10, I'm going to break into 5 and 2. Okay, so that way I can have the two radicands make into integer 5. Okay? And then, so this and this will give me an integer 5. And this will give me a square root of 2. Now, I times I is -1, so it will be a negative. Okay? Now, this is what you don't want to do. Okay? So don't do this. So square root of -5 times square root of -10. So some people will do this. Oh, -5 times -10, this will give you 50. And then from here, you simplify, you get 25, 5. Okay? And so you end up with 5 square root of 2. Okay? So this is bad. Don't do that. Again, you cannot multiply that first, okay, because your ends are going to come out wrong. So this is bad. Okay, so don't do that. Okay, again, as soon as you see negative inside the square root, you have to make it into I first before you do anything else. So do not multiply first. Okay, so again, this is bad. Okay, number 15, got 7i squared. Okay, so again, you have to distribute. So 7 squared is 49. I squared is equal to -1. So the answer would be -49. Okay. 17, you got -I squared. Okay, so negative squared is positive. I squared is negative. So this would be just -1. Again, negative square is positive, I square is -1. Okay, and so that's your answer. Okay, number 19, you got I squared of 2 square. Okay, so that's going to do each part. So I squared is equal to -1. Square root of 2 squared is equal to 2. Okay, and so this will equal to -2. Okay, 21. Yeah, -I. Okay, 21, -I squared of 3 square. So again, you square each part. So -1 squared is positive, so you don't have to do anything. I squared is -1. Okay. And square root of 3 squared is equal to 3. And so your answer will be equal to -3. Okay, so you can just do each part. Okay, number 23, you got -2 over I. Okay, so I is just like a square root. So you're not allowed to have an I in the denominator. Okay, so to get rid of that, you need to, so I'm going to multiply by I to the 3 power. You can multiply by I. But if you multiply by I, you will end up with a -1. Okay? So you can multiply by, okay, let's do it both ways. So multiply by I on both the top and the bottom. So I times I will give you -1, and this will give you -2i, and then the negative will cancel out, so equal to 2i. Okay, so negative cancel out. Usually I don't like to multiply by I. Okay? So normally I like to multiply by I cube. Okay? Because this will give you I to the 4, and I to the 4 equal to 1. Okay, so that way you don't have to do any simplification. So this will be just 1. And over here, I cube is equal to -I. Okay, again, you have to know those things, right? So you're going to get -2 times -I, so equal to -2i. Okay, so you can do it either way. Okay. Again, like I said, usually I like to multiply by I cube. That way I don't have to deal with the bottom because this is just equal to 1. Okay. But you can do it either way, multiply by I or I cube. Okay. Okay, number 25, you have 1 over square root of -5. Again, as soon as you see negative inside the square root, the first thing you do is you're going to make it into an I before you do anything else. Okay? So now you have to get rid of the square root of 5. You have to get rid of the I. So I'm going to multiply. To get rid of the square root of 5, I need the square root of 5. Okay, to get rid of the I, I'm going to multiply by I cube. Okay? And so now this will give me a 5. I times I cube is I4 is equal to 1. So I don't have to do anything to it. That's the reason I multiply by that. And plus, when you multiply by I, okay, when you multiply by I, you get -1. A lot of time, people forget a negative and end up having a careless mistakes. Okay. Now on the top, the I cube equal to -I, and so that's it. Okay, again, so or square root of 5. Okay, and so it'll be negative square root of 5I. There you go. Okay, so again, I cube is -I, so that's where I get -I from, and square root of 5 is square root of 5. Okay, 27. Okay, you got square root of 18 over. Notice give a little bit space over here because I want to have room to write all the things I cancel. So 2I square root of 6. Okay, so notice you got radical here, radical you can reduce. So divide by 6, you get 1. Divide by 6, you get 3. Okay, so this becomes square root of 3 over 2I. Okay, so now I have to get rid of the I on the denominator. So I'm going to multiply by I cube. Okay, so again, I times I cube is I to the 4, so equal to 1. So this is equal to 1, so I don't have to do anything to it. So now I cube is -I, so it'd be negative square root of 3I. Okay, so again, this is -I, and this is square root of 3. Okay. Okay, number 29. Yeah, square root of 60 over square root of -15. So again, first you have to take care of the negative. So this is equal to square root of 60 over square root of 15I. Okay, so again, the square root of negative is I. Now, you got radical 60, radical 15, you can divide by 15. So divide by 15, you get 1. Divide by 15, you get 4. So now you can simplify. So square root of 4 is equal to 2, and this was just I. Okay, now I have to get rid of the I from the bottom, right? Again, you're not allowed to have an I on the denominator, so I'm going to multiply by I cube. Okay, so I times I cube is 1, so it becomes, so all I have to do is wipe out the top. So again, this is equal to -I, okay? So this is equal to -I, and you got 2 here, and so that's it. Okay. Okay, number 31, solving equations. So you got x squared plus 144 equal to 0. Okay, so now I'm going to solve, I need to isolate the x. So I'm going to minus 144 on both sides. So I got x squared equal to -144. You can notice I leave a space in front. It's because I'm going to take the square root, and as soon as I take the square root of the variable, I need to get plus or minus. Okay? And then so square and square root cancel out, so I get x equal to plus or minus. Okay? And now, so 144, square root of 144 is equal to 12. Okay? So if you don't see that, okay, let's do this. Okay? Let's take care of the I first, and then from here we can go ahead and simplify. So I get 2, 2, and 3. So x equal to plus or minus. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12. So it'd be plus or minus 12i. Okay. Okay, next one, number 33. We got 2w squared equal to -98. Okay, so again, first let's get rid of the numbers, divide by 2. So we got w squared equal to -49. And I'm going to take the square root on both sides. And when I do that, I need to get plus or minus in the front. So square and square root cancel out. And square root of 49 is 7. Square root of negative is I. And that's it. So again, make sure you know your perfect square numbers. Okay, you make things a lot easier and quicker. You don't have to, you don't have to waste time doing this all the time. Okay. So you should know all the way up to about at least 12. Okay, so you need to know that 1 squared equal to 1, 2 squared equal to 4, 3 squared equal to 9, 4 squared equal to 16, 5 squared equal to 25, 6 squared equal to 36. All the way, you want to get to 12. Okay? So because these numbers are fairly common, so you want to get all these numbers up to 12. So be familiar with the square numbers. Okay, number 35. You got 3u squared plus 40 equal to 4. Okay, so again, I need to get rid of all the stuff. So minus 40 on both sides. So you got 3u squared equal to negative 36. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. So u squared equal to negative 12. And I'm going to take the square root on both sides. When I do that, I need to have a plus or minus. So square and square root cancel out. Okay, now the 12, again, if you simplify, divide by 2, divide by 2. So you're going to get 2 square root of 3. Right, this is 2 square root of 3. And then square root of negative will give you I. Okay, and so that's it. Okay, number 37a is negative square root of 20. Oh. Negative is inside. Okay, so square root of negative 25 plus square root of negative 36. And the b is a multiplication. Okay, so make sure you kind of differentiate between the two. Okay, so first again, as soon as you see the negative, you have to make it into I. Okay, so this is equal to square root of 25i plus square root of 36i. So this is equal to 5i plus 6i. And so this is equal to 11i. Okay. Now this one over here, again, first you have to take care of the I. So it would be square root of 25i times by square root of 36i. So this is equal to 5i times 6i. So over here is 5i plus 6i. Over here is 5i times 6i. So when you multiply the integer first. So 5 times 6 gives you 30. And I times I is negative 1. Okay. So make sure you know the difference between adding and multiplying. Okay, number 39. 39a. Okay, you have 3 square root of negative 2 minus square root of negative 50. And 39b, you have the 3 square root of negative 2 times negative square root of negative 50. Okay, let's do this one first. So this is equal to 3 square root of 2i minus square root of 50i. Again, negative means it's I. And you need to simplify this. Okay, so let's do the 50 divided by 2. You get 25. Divided by 5. Get 5. Divided by 5. You get 1. So this is 5 square root of 2. So you got 3 square root of 2i minus 5 square root of 2i. Okay, so you got 5 of these minus 5 of this. You get negative 2 of it, right? So it'd be negative 2, and everything else treated like a variable. So think of like x. Okay, so think of like 3x minus 5x. You got negative 2x. So that's what that is. Okay, and so equal to that, and that's it. Okay, so you can put the I in the back. Okay, I know in the answer you put I in the middle, but get in the habit of put I in the back. Okay, that's going to take care of this one. Okay, so this one is kind of the same as this one already. So this would be, so from here we know that this is equal to 3 square root of 2i. Okay, and this would be negative, and this would be 5 square root of 2i. Right? So this part is from here. Right? So this is from here. Okay, so again, same, right? The difference is that this is subtraction, this is a multiplication. Now when you multiply, again, you do the sign number and you do the alphabet, right? So positive times negative, it would be negative. The integer times integer would give you 15. And then radicand times radicand, okay, it would be a 2. And I times I is a negative 1. Okay? So again, you use a lot of parentheses. And so this will equal to negative times negative 1 is positive, so this would be 30. Okay. Okay, number 41a, you have the I square root of 18 plus square root of negative 8, and 41b, you got I square root of 18 times square root of negative 8. Okay, so let's go and simplify the 18. So it'd be 2 divided by 2, you get 9, divided by 3, you get 3, divided by 3, you get 1. Okay, so this will give you 3 square root of 2i. And make sure I is big enough that it's not inside the square root. Okay, so make sure I is not inside the square root, because that would be incorrect. Okay, and so again, square root of negative is I, and the 8, when you do this, you get 2 square root of 2. Okay? So again, 8 is 2 square root of 2, and negative it give you the I. Okay, so now I can think of like a variable. So you got 3x plus 2x will give you 5x. Right? It would be 5 square root of 2i. Okay. Now let's do this one over here. So from 18, from here we know that 18 is 3 square root of 2. So this is 3 square root of 2i times, and this one from here is going to be 2 square root of 2i. Right? Again, one is addition, one is multiplication. Okay, so let's go and multiply. Again, when you multiply, you only can multiply same type of numbers. So this is the integer, so 3 times 2 is 6. Radicand times radicand will give you integer 2. I times I will give you negative 1. Okay, so you can just multiply integer, radicand, and the I. So this will equal to negative 12.